Ciao!
Ciao, mio amico!
Mio amico! Mio amore!
Mio amore!
Mi trovo a Washington e oggi voglio parlarvi di un'applicazione molto utile per chi viaggia da solo o comunque è in compagnia di massimo un'altra persona. L'applicazione in questione è Couchsurfing. Ti permette di essere ospitato in una città. Ad esempio io ho scritto Washington e mi sono uscite le varie persone che mi potevano ospitare a Washington. Ovviamente tu invii sempre una richiesta, quindi sta a loro decidere se accettarti, se ospitarti o no, in base alle loro esigenze e alla loro volontà. La prima volta che uso questa applicazione ancora non ho conosciuto il mio ospitante, l'ho solo contattato, mi ha dato il suo indirizzo e verso le 6, verso le 7 insomma vado a casa sua. Vi faccio vedere anche una cosa, questi monopattini che troviamo per strada, noi ne possiamo prendere possesso del monopattino e di lasciarlo in qualsiasi parte della città, a meno che il parcheggio non è vietato, lo vedremo come una zona rossa sulla mappa dell'applicazione. Quindi in pratica io ora, se accedo con l'applicazione, scannerizzo il codice QR, pago per la corsa e inizio ad usarlo, mi sposto e quando arrivo al punto interessato metto il cavalletto e lo lascio.
Who am I? What a wonderful quote. Saad Bashir, born in Florida, live in Georgia, and here we are in Washington D.C. where I'm studying. My family is Pakistani though.
My name is Hao Tian, born and raised in China until I came to the US to study for college and then for master.
You don't have an American name?
No, just Hao. It's very easy to pronounce.
Sometimes it's really hard to pronounce.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to pronounce, so just for the sake of saving other people some trouble.
Comfortable with.
My name is easy to pronounce.
Yeah.
Did you use Couchsurfing before?
No, I never. I do have friends who use it. Then
like Saad?
No, like
I've
heard about it. I've heard about it before, but I only get to know more about this like since I talked to Saad. I think so. I think I would definitely try it.
We'll make your account later.
Yeah.
Once he's a sponsor of his account. Then I will in the comments I will put his account.
Do it.
So,
write him a reference, he needs one. He's a great guy, I promise.
We are in Washington D.C. right now.
Yes.
So you live here in Washington D.C.
I technically live in Virginia, but it's just across the river, so it's really close. It's still the DC area.
Okay, so he's from another country.
So I just used it for the first time, I guess, 3 months ago. It was in December. I used it in Egypt, Alexandria. That's when I first used it. I knew about Couchsurfing. I always felt like I wanted to try it, and then I was like, yeah, why not? Let's see what's going on in Alexandria. So I did it like the day before I got there, and somebody accepted me, and I was like, yay. my main intention was I just want to sleep for free because I didn't really know what else couchsurfing was except that. So I ended up going there, and there was a guy named Islam, and with Islam was his brother Ahmed and one of his other friends named Omda. The three of them, they all lived there in the same apartment for a while, and then we just became great friends super quickly. And over the next 3 or 4 days, like they introduced me to like 30 of their friends. We were just going out to all the local places.
Yeah.
Like I remember Omda he just kept telling me, no, you can't go there. You're gonna be a real Egyptian. We're gonna do
Because when you go in a place, always you do a trip as a tourist. So you never know exactly what a person who live here knows.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy? I was in Alexandria, and you've heard of the Library of Alexandria, right? It's famous. It's a big landmark tourist destination. I've heard about it. But I was with these guys, and we walked right next to it, took a picture, then we kept walking. I didn't even go inside. I was like, nah, it's fine.
No, where did you go?
Honestly, we just went to a lot of like different like cafes, restaurants. Actually, one of my friends, he had another friend who had a wedding. So I ended up going and crashing a wedding in Alexandria. So funny. This is so funny. I went into the wedding. I danced with the groom and everything. I added him on Facebook even though I didn't talk to him later. And I posted the pictures of Egypt, including a video of the wedding. And he commented in Arabic, "Those are my brothers."
But that would not happen if you never used the...
Oh, absolutely not.
So
I probably would have wandered around, met some people, but I never would have had that same type of experience. I felt so comfortable right off the start. I was like, I have to use Couchsurfing again. So I had an account. I just I didn't have it accepting people. It was like maybe accepting guests. So what happened is I changed it from maybe accepting to accepting. So I decided to just let people come and stay with me. So you are my fifth person. First two were two Brazilians.
But they came together?
They came together. They were friends.
So there's like one there and one here?
Exactly. That's why I said I have a maximum of two. Simone, your friend, was the second one. Third guy was an Indonesian guy. And fourth guy was this Peruvian guy. The thing is, like, if I could have maybe, I don't know if it's possible, put this on Airbnb and like made money instead, right?
Yeah.
But if you do that, then people are gonna expect like, oh, I'm paying for this.
Yeah.
Like
they take your service for
it's
granted.
a service, yeah. But for Couchsurfing, everyone is just genuine, casual. It's more like, oh, we're friends, we help each other out. You know?
Yeah.
So a lot of people who stay with me, they want to help me out. Simone tried to cook Italian pasta for me. The Peruvian guy, he also cooked for me twice. The Indonesian guy, I have a money collection. I didn't have any from Southeast Asia. He just gave me one from Vietnam, one from Indonesia, one from Thailand. Oh, this is great. The two Brazilians. This came in the mail just yesterday. I showed them Three Idiots, the movie.
Okay. Oh.
Look what it says on the back. Hey Saad, so you never have trouble again finding the movie. They keep messaging me all the time. I'm always happy to respond. See how they're doing. I actually find is really cool on Couchsurfing is the little map. So it's places where you have stayed with Couchsurfing or where the people who have stayed with you come from. On my map, I have Egypt and Sudan because I stayed there.
Oh yeah.
But there's also Brazil, there's Italy, there's Indonesia, there's Peru. My map is getting bigger. I love maps. So it's easiest. It's absolutely easiest when you're one person. The more people you do, the harder it is. Like
you have some suggestion about the people that want to try to travel alone for the first time?
With Couchsurfing or in general?
Yeah, also with Couchsurfing. I think it's one of the best ways to have a different experience.
No, especially if you're not used to traveling alone and you're not able to like meet people in different cities and like have a good time, you're going to be stuck kind of. Yeah. If you're alone, you just get lonely, it's boring, and then you won't have a good time. But this is an easy way automatically to just meet somebody who's like going to take care of you. So you already have a friend and they can show you all the things that you wouldn't have even known if you had friends with you when you went.
Yeah, it may sound scary. It may sound like a big step to make to get out of the comfort zone. But I guess once you make that step, it's completely different.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
You can also just choose to hang out with people.
They have the hangouts. So I actually haven't used them or tried it yet.
To
Some
hang
people
out.
say like not accepting guests, but they want to hang out.
Nice. Yeah.
It's like now, but I don't live here.
Very similar. I had a very similar experience. My first time traveling alone, I did an Airbnb, but it was a little bit different from my previous trip because I didn't plan everything else. I want to be as spontaneous as possible, so I only book, I think 3 days of Airbnb, and then that's it. And I was like, we'll see what happened on the ground. So it's a good time. I heard him talk a lot about how he traveled by himself and then the adventures he ran into. I was like, okay, it's cool. I want to do that by myself too. I think the best way to learn is to actually to do it. Yeah. First 1 or 2 hours were a little bit scary, because I don't know where I will end up by the day. I was anxious, the days are the day was getting dark. I don't know where I would stay for that night. But then the minute I begin the trip, it's completely different vibe. So
yeah. And then you went on some more trips too, right?
Yeah. Then last year I because I'm always interested in the Middle East. So I decided to take a week trip to Lebanon, and then it was also solo travel. I learned my lesson this time, and I didn't book an Airbnb because I knew that would shut me down from the outside world. I won't really get a chance to meet other people. So instead, I booked a hostel. I didn't have the courage to do Couchsurfing by the time. So I booked a hostel, and then just ran into people from actually all over the world. I think it's just a learning curve. There are many things you need to take into consideration, how to protect yourself, but at the same time to enjoy the time, meeting other people, meeting new things.
Okay. The craziest things that happen in your travel? I mean, you just look at each other.
Why don't you get started?
God,
What do you want to start?
I don't even know which ones to talk about. There's so many.
One of them.
Getting interrogated by Russian soldiers in occupied territory. It's wow, that car ride that was 24 hours over a mountain when it was pouring rain. My car broke down 3 times. That was a little freaky. I was in Sudan just now during the revolution. There were a couple civil wars I crossed through. Literally every time I tell somebody about my trip, they're like, "You're gonna die." I'm like, "No, I don't die."
And also, you went to the premieres during the winter, right? So it was the time when I visited him in Kyrgyzstan, and almost everyone who heard that he was going to the premieres warned against him of not going there because they say it's dangerous in the winter. Nobody goes there except Chinese truck drivers. But he still did it, and everyone was like, "You're gonna die from going there in the winter."
But I had a great time.
Yeah. And then
when I called you from Conosco.
Yeah, he was video chatting with me and sitting alone in a mountain.
So it's the Pamir Mountains in eastern Tajikistan. So this is the region that has like no running water or electricity in its villages. It's in the mountains, but it's kind of like a desert climate in the mountains. And they're like 4,000 meters at least. Higher than 4,000 meters. They're pretty high. But it was March, so it was actually not winter. It was changing into spring, which made it dangerous. Landslides, avalanches, because of the melting of the snow. That's why it's the most dangerous. But I remember like in the city called Margub, and in Margub I didn't have a place to stay. I was in this car, right? It was like a shared taxi, they technically call it.
Okay.
Long distance. I don't know. Anyhow, because they said, "Where are you going?" I was like, "I don't know." And it's like 10 o'clock at night, and it's completely pitch black, and it's freezing. I was sitting inside the car wearing like 5 layers of clothes and gloves, and I couldn't move. And like everybody else was going out and like unpacking the luggage, and I just like couldn't move. But they tried to like drop me off somewhere, but nobody opened the door, and I was like, I'm gonna freeze to death. But like after everybody got off, one of the guys actually came back. He was like, "Come with me."
Yeah.
And he was like, he brought me into his house, and like his family had cooked like a giant thing of plov in their wood stove, right? And there's like that. It was crazy, like how like traditional the family life was too. The guy was a grandfather too, So he was like in charge of the house. We were speaking in Russian the entire time.
Saved your life.
Yeah. I like absolutely would have frozen to death otherwise. But people are just kind. People always.
You say like with a so simple way.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's not even the part where I got in the car and then
Yeah.
I didn't even mention the next 2 days.
What to criticize the thing? I would say probably when I was in Dominican Republic. The day before, I wasn't planning to do a trip to the northern part of the island. I was staying at a hostel. So I woke up in the morning, I was talking to the host. She advised me to go to the northern part of the island. There's a place called Samana Peninsula. She said the beaches there are very, very beautiful. And I really should go check it out. So I just packed my stuff and then I go. And then I ran into this guy. A lot of the tourists, the tour guide, they were trying to sell you the tour to small island. And I was like, at the beginning I was very interested, but then he showed me the picture. It's very, very beautiful reef island. It's not even on Google Maps because it was so tiny. And I was like, okay, I kind of want to do that since I was like, I don't have plan for the rest of my day. The reason why I wanted to come here was because I wanted to see the beaches. And then if there's one just so beautiful and so close, why don't I just do it? I just followed him in this very small, tiny boat to the island. Stayed there for 3 hours, and then it was the best time ever. After that, I wanted to hike to a beach that's not technically not accessible from the land, because most people would only go there by taking a boat. I just keep asking locals how to go there and then hike by myself. I got lost in the mountains about 2-3 times. By the time it was already afternoon. I didn't make it by the end, but I think it was a very, very fun exploring experience for me.
I think most people are not accustomed to traveling by themselves.
Yeah.
And I think traveling alone is one of the best experiences there is.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're going to travel alone, if you might not be ready for it. And like you might actually have a bad experience potentially. If you just get bored or like don't have the courage to talk to somebody. So at least if you go alone and you try couchsurfing, then you'll probably like have a pretty decent time because somebody will be there to help you out.
Yeah. You can't always have a friend on the ground. So I guess the best way to do that is to through this couchsurfing find someone who actually lives there, and then it will, because when you're in a different country,
if you don't speak the language.
Yeah, in most of the cases you don't speak the local language. It's very comforting to have someone who knows the area and who can show you around. I would say it's the best way of transition for you to go from your comfort zone into this adventure.
Yeah, to not have the cultural shock directly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's what I
feel like couchsurfing should pay us for this.
Here is Saad's account. Follow him.
And there will be also his account.
His account too. You just have to make it.
Ok. Lui studia dove? Non so se rende dal video.
The CIA used that building in an experiment called MK Ultra, which was a brainwashing experiment.